if you're willing to put the effort in, then you'll be surprised by the results that you can get back out. I've been a software engineer for a while. So right now I'm a software engineering manager. I was primarily doing my software job. I have a son, and then I also have 3 dogs, and was just kind of living the 9-to-5 life. Growing up, you're always told not to trust people on the internet, and I just wasn't really familiar with his work or anything that he did. When I found him on Facebook, I didn't commit to anything immediately because I wanted to see more of what they were really about. So I started listening to Jeremiah's podcast, and I actually listened to a lot of his podcast episodes. I found them really, really fun and interesting with the guests that were brought on and just like the advice and the stories that were there. And then at a certain point, I had been following Jeremiah for a while on Instagram, and I had listened to a bunch of his podcast episodes. And then I felt like I knew more of what he was about and saw what value he was trying to provide. And that's when I was more open to joining. So the challenges that I was facing, I felt a little bit like I was just surviving, kind of going through the day to day, and everything was fine, but I wanted to be doing more. Before I joined Conquer, I was already signed up to run a marathon. I wasn't training for it as well as I should have been, but I was signed up to run it. Like, my job was going great, but I felt like I could do a lot more. And there were a couple of points that were more like turning points where it's like, I think I can do better than this. And one of them, like, I was in a work meeting with a bunch of people in their 20s. Like, there might have been one person in their 30s, but it was like a bunch of people in their 20s. And everyone was talking about how the prime of their life had passed, that, you know, they'd lost their health already and had problems, and it just was what it was. And I was listening to this and I'm just like, no, this is like the first part of life. This should be the prime of your life. I decided I wanted to, you know, find people who wanted more, who believed that they could do more. So there were definitely some moments like that just made me think more and realize that I didn't want to just get stuck in a rut and become complacent where I was at. I did have goals. After having my son, I almost immediately had started a Couch to 5K program, and I signed up for a couple of races and stuff. And so that was really cool, but I don't think I had really established good goals for myself outside of that. And I was already signed up for a marathon, but I wasn't as prepared for it when it came around as I should have been. So like, Jeremiah definitely gave me some good advice that helped me show up and make it through the finish line there. But then there's been other things that I've been working on as well. Since joining Conquer, I started a linguistics podcast, which is just something that I was really interested in and really wanted to do. So I reached out to a friend who also has a background in linguistics, and we just recorded our 20th episode on Saturday. So that's something that's just been really rewarding and fulfilling for me. Earlier this year, I got certified as a personal trainer, and now I have a couple clients that I'm actually more conscious of what I'm doing myself with my fitness, but I've also been able to help a couple other people make progress towards their goals. So that's been huge. I feel like my goals and my perspective are a lot bigger now, and that's carried over into my work, into how I relate with my family, kind of into everything. One of the things that I've liked best about working with Jeremiah is that he's very real. Like, he's not asking people or telling people to do things that he wouldn't do himself. Like, with the challenges that he creates, he does them. He's actually speaking from experience, and he's really good at asking the questions that bring out what you actually want and make you think through things in a different way than you might have on your own. And sometimes you need that accountability. Sometimes you need someone to just speak really directly and be like, well, maybe you already know what you want, or what is it that's really standing in the way between where you are and where you want to be. Maybe sometimes in social media it can come off as like really harsh and maybe intimidating. You have this Army Ranger talking about being strong and conquering and everything, but then he also does have this really genuine ability to connect and relate and meet you where you're at the same time. From things that he's said, I've made a lot of realizations about my goals and about where I want to go. The community in the winner's table and having other people who are also really striving to reach their goals and support each other has definitely been a positive thing. I've really loved going through Jeremiah's reading list. I'm not quite done with it, but I've read several of the books on there, and those have also been really pivotal in some of the decisions and realizations that I've made. I went to Conquer Quest, the event, a couple months ago, and being able to meet the team in person and like physically and mentally push myself, it was like an awesome experience. I would definitely recommend working with Jeremiah. He really does have the background and the ability to actually help people reach their goals. And I think specifically that's for people who are willing to take action, for people who really want change in their lives. Jeremiah can help a ton with helping really set those goals and figuring out a plan to take that consistent action you need to achieve them. If you're willing to put the effort in, then you'll be surprised by the results that you can get back out. I think it's really difficult sometimes to say what a coach's impact actually is, because what a coach is doing is helping their team achieve their potential. The team's success is the coach's success, and sometimes it can be hard to figure out like what was that impact, what was the value add, and like would I be in the same place I am now if I had figured it out on my own? And honestly, I don't think I would be in the same place. I think, working with Jeremiah and Conquer Academy has really upgraded my mindset in a lot of ways. Now I actually am really confident that I'm working on really cool things that I'm passionate about and that I can reach my goals. And those goals are much higher than they were a year ago. I'm just really grateful for Conquer Academy and that I've been able to be a part of it.